Welcome back to Ferocious Education. This is Ed. Today I'm going to be talking about IBIO. I did talk about it around a month and a half ago, so you'll find the other DD in the description below if you want to watch it after this one. Make sure to drop a like to this video to help this channel grow. Subscribe and leave your notifications on to get the latest out of these videos. And I'm going to be going through technical analysis here, and then I'm going to go through news and how I'm going to be playing the stock moving forward. So let's jump right into it. We see here on the 1 month, 1 day perspective, what we get to see here is an MACD that is decreasing rapidly. ADX that does not show stability, but the price is still above the 200 SMA. Another thing we're seeing is the 10 SMAs is still above 30 MAs, so that is bullish, as well as the price being above the 200 SMA. ADX here is choppy, doesn't tell us much. The stock is oversold, so that is as well a bullish sign. Momentum seems to be a little bit choppy, but might be regaining momentum. We need to look into the 1 hour. MACD is constantly decreasing. That here is a little bit bearish. Volume has decreased a little from what it had on the day before. That is as well bearish. Now the stock price has dropped under the 50 SMA, so that is bearish as well. So we need to look a little bit into the 1 hour intervals in order to determine where this is moving. So on the 1 hour intervals, we get to see that it did have a massive drop yesterday. It almost stayed in a little bit towards 9 a.m. and then it did see a little bit of a dip. Not as bad as the one it saw yesterday, but going on from 480 to 234 in less than 2 days, in almost 48 hours, that is quite of a drop. It really broke down. The 50 SMA, the 200 SMA is still under there. Moving averages on the 1 hour scale looks really bearish. Now the ADX shows in a very strong trend, but that's a negative trend that we're seeing, so that's a little bit dangerous there. Million percent R here is a little bit towards neutral, between neutral and oversold. Momentum here is a little bit choppy and it seems to be negative. And MACD seems to be recovering a little bit in the extended market, but we need still confirmation on the pre-market. Now, all in all, it's not so far just all bad news. We need to just look into the moving averages, into supports and resistance and try to understand this better. So we get to see here on the moving average band in blue and cyan, the price is way below that. That's a little bit dangerous, and we get to see the unbalanced volume has decreased insanely here. Now, moving on towards supports and resistances, what we get to see here is a little bit of a bad sign. In terms of the Fibonacci resistance and support, well, there is one of 347, but I will need to quickly go on to the 3 months, 1 day, and try to label the maximum and the minimum just to try to get a little bit more accurate drawing on here. So we're going to go 745 all the way down to $1.01, and we're going to go back to the 1 hour interval. So what you get to see here is that the current resistance is at 253 to where the Fibonacci resistance would be. Now, the current support is sitting at 243 traditionally, and then we're seeing a 235, and then we're seeing a 218, and then a 212. Now, going on towards resistances, we get to see the 253, and then above that would be 269, above that 274, above that 294, and then 297, 314, and then above that 333, and then 347. So quite a bit of room to grow there. Of course, it did see 2 massive dips start in the market, so the market dip really hurt this one bad. In terms of trend lines, I don't see any, but here's the good news, so stay hold. I know I've been slandering on with a bit of bad news that I've been seeing here. Now go on towards the pipelines. Not a lot of things going on here. Of course, clinical development for the classical swine fever vaccine, which is useful here, so clinical development is on there. IBIO for COVID-19 vaccine for both the VLP and the subnet are both preclinical. So there is a few things in the pipelines that can move forward that we can hear positive PRs on. Moving on towards the presentation quickly, different things on trying to determine where the next catalysts are. We're seeing here trial rescheduled from May 2020 to late 2020 or early 2021. This is the IBIO versus Fraunhofer. So haven't heard about this yet. I might be wrong, but that is still a PR coming up. There's different developments and strategies regarding these ones here, as we see on the screen. Different PRs potential. There's 5 different categories: fast farming, CDMO surfacing, 3D bioprinting, IBIO, antifibrotics, and COVID vaccines. Moving on forward, latest news has been a little bit dead, but here's the good news. So today, for instance, Eastern Capital took almost 6%. Sorry, not today, yesterday, 6% off the company. JP Morgan bought around 40,000 shares. Valley National bought 1,000. Virtual Finance decreased their actual shares percentage, but increased their value. So I think what they did there was they did sell still. But in general, what you get to see is a lot of new positions. So the highlighted green is new positions. New York State Common Retirement Fund, 62,000 added on there. Different things happening. So probably somewhere around, I would say, easily 200 to 300,000 shares added since start of August. So that is significant. It shows a lot of institutional interest going on from insider. I haven't seen anything coming in from new insider purchases. The last bit was actually selling off insider purchases, so that's a little bit alarming to me. As you can get to see, they have decreased their shares by 15 million here yesterday, and the day before 7.3 million. Basically, the last one has gotten rid of 2/3 of their shares. This one got around, say, 1/6 or 1/5 of their shares. And we get to see on the day before as well around 1.4 million shares there. This one was conversion. So lately we've been seeing in August when it comes to insiders, we've been seeing getting rid of shares rather than purchasing shares. Now going on towards how I play the stock, but before doing forward, we don't see much news other than insider investors. So let's try in terms of earnings as well. We don't have a confirmation to where that is. So that's a little bit dangerous, but in terms of how I'll play the stock, that's very important to me. I would like the stock to enter an accumulation phase. So what do I mean by accumulation phase here? Let's try to go on quickly to the 3 months period. Usually it's something similar to this. It does see a dip and it starts accumulating. And it holds a good support instead of it dipping. What we've been seeing here is constant red candles. I know it jumped a little, but this is almost around 48 hours off straight going down, and you need to feel a little bit of a support in order to play this one. So for me, it's definitely scary. Why are insiders selling their stocks? Moving averages are looking really scary here for me. Technical analysis looks scary. I know there's a lot of potential in this company. I know institutional value sees that. Institutions does see that, but I definitely want a good entry. I know this probably stock would be really nice in a month or so, but I want a good entry in order to feel a little bit comfortable. Now, where's the stock moving? Where could it go? Technically, what we can do here is another thing to try to see where the supports and resistances is. So this is another Fibonacci movement where you put the 161.8, and you can technically see it go down all the way to the 212. If it does dip around there, that is very much of consider buying for me. If it dips around 189, I'm definitely buying, just because I know the stock will hold a good support around there. And if you're holding from the top averages, I would consider buying there. But right now, it's definitely, if you have the guts to it, you can hold. But as soon as you see, for instance, a lot of dumping for shares and you see massive walls put up, I would definitely sell. If I was someone here and they still are green, I would sell, but I wouldn't sell here on a loss. I would definitely average down in the future. But this company has a lot of potential, just as having a rough time. What do you think about the sticker? Make sure you mention down in the comments below. Share, subscribe, and like it. You have a wonderful day.